Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. This is Jock Talk.
And we are on the air on Jock Talk right here with Banana Joe and Sky Walker. And on the Banana phone, with special hookup to Colorado, we have a good friend of mine, Radio Consulting Services founder and president, John Holliday. John, how are you?
Hey, Joe, I am good. It's an honor to be on the podcast through the Banana phone. Thank you for inviting me today.
Well, you know, you and I both spent time in Denver with another friend of ours, a good friend of yours, who recently passed away. And one of the reasons that we wanted to call you is to pay tribute to Harry Nelson.
Yeah, Harry Bud Nelson. We lost him on Friday, June 4th. And Harry and I have been friends for over 30 years. He was not only one of my important mentors in my career, but a very long time, a dear friend like you, Joe.
Yeah, Harry was a great guy. I only got to work with him for several months there in Denver, and I got to tell you, he was a pleasure to be around. He was always positive. He always had a good story to tell. I'll never forget the hotel in Boston, the Copley.
The Copley Plaza Hotel.
And the bathroom.
Ancient the bad plumbing in the bathroom.
I'll never forget
story about a jock named Tom Jeffries. They were working at WZOU in Boston at the time, and Harry was very generous. He would take people out to nice restaurants and treat him to lunch or dinner or what have you. And he and Jeffries were at the Boston Copley Plaza hotel in Boston, and Jeffries had to use the bathroom and was gone for a while. And Harry's like, "Where the heck is he?" A little time goes by, and all of a sudden, Harry hears, "Harry. And Nelson gets up and he sees Tom Jeffries just covered from head to toe in poo. Not exactly what you want to be, experiencing in a place like that.
Obviously, a pressure problem in the toilet. Oh God.
Yeah, and I remember Harry explaining it to us, saying, apparently the pressure builds up so much in the ancient plumbing system that when Jeffries flushed the toilet, things just kind of exploded and ended up all over him. So that's just a great, funny Harry Nelson memory there. Explaining it to us and saying, apparently the pressure builds up so much in the ancient plumbing system that when Jeffries flushed the toilet, things just kind of exploded and ended up all over him.
Oh, God.
That's just a great, funny Harry Nelson memory there.
Obviously, we recorded this interview earlier tonight, but that was Harry used to be so animated when he told that story. It was just unbelievable. There's no way to recreate that story the way Harry Bud Nelson used to do it, used to tell it. And I mean, the first time I met him, first thing he did is tell us that story. And John and I were on the floor. We were absolutely on the floor. He was one of the great guys in our business. And when we lose one of the great guys in our business, it really hurts. And the great thing about Harry to me was he was such a positive guy all the time, no matter what was going on. So we go back to my little interview with John Holliday. John was best friends with Harry for about 30 some years. What happened? Oh no. Oh, tell me we lost it. No, it's got to be here. Oh my goodness. Here we go. That's right. Man, Harry, he had a knack for telling stories too, didn't he? Oh man,
he did. He certainly did. Yeah. And I'll talk a little bit about Harry's background, if I may, before we jump into some more some great stories. Harry was born in a tiny little town in Mississippi, Collins, Mississippi, with a population of a little more than 1,000 people. So if that gives you any idea,
Wow.
the nearest big city nearby was Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and that's where he started his radio career. And then moved on to Jackson, Mississippi, which a lot of great radio talent, you know, Joe,
Bill Tanner
came out of there. Great,
great.
yeah. Robert W. Walker and Bob Pittman, who runs iHeartMedia. Harry and Bob Pittman worked at WRBC in Jackson, Mississippi together, competing with Tanner and those guys.
At JDX.
And from WJDX, that's right.
Right.
And Harry went on to Denver and Miami and eventually Boston. Jerry Cagle hired him. Jerry was the PD at WRKO in Boston. In 1974, he hired Harry to do afternoon drive in Boston.
Right.
And he was there with Jerry, and then
68 WRKO, yes.
68 RKO, and Les Garland became the next PD there, and he and Jerry Cagle were both instrumental in Harry's career and mentors of his as well. Les Garland, of course, the original programmer of MTV.
Yes, he was.
When that came about. And Harry followed Les to KFRC in San Francisco in the late 70s. He came back to RKO in Boston, at least on one other occasion, and then continued his love affair with San Francisco and KFRC.
Oh, he did great out there. Did great, yeah.
Right through the mid-'80s when he went to New York with Jerry Cagle. And, he was a hell of a jock, and he was a great programmer. And Harry did some consulting, and that's how you and I both met him on separate occasions.
Country music.
I was programming in Portland, Maine, and we brought Harry in to be our consultant, Top 40 station. Harry adopted Boston and New England as his home away from home.
Sure. Yeah.
And he actually lived in southern Maine for a good part of his life. He just loved it. And for the 4 or 5 years that I was in the Portland, Maine area, I too fell in love with it. And any opportunity I get to go back is great. I've got a funny story from the Portland, Maine days. Our book had come out, and it was our debut book, and we had a great book. We cut the market-leading Top 40 stations ratings in half.
The book
and
is
we were ahead of
the ratings book, just so our layman listeners are.
Yeah, the ratings book, which was a 12-week survey period where listeners are asked what they're listening to.
Right.
And the results were spectacular. We were certainly at least in the top 3, and you named the demo. It was a great station called G98.
Yep. But
we had an owner who was relentless and, just never could make him happy.
Yeah.
Great wasn't good enough. So we had a very long, frustrating day at the office with the owner.
I know those.
And Harry said, "Bud, let's go out and get a cocktail or two." At the end of the day, so we headed into the city, and a great waterfront there in Portland, Maine. Harry had a infamous spot that he used to go to called Jay's Oyster that he introduced me to.
Yep.
And by the way, great seafood if you're ever in Portland.
Harry knew the great restaurants too. Yes.
Harry liked his food. There's no question.
Yeah.
And so, we started, having some shots of tequila and just sort of decompressing and trying to put this day behind us. And we were right by the window, and we could see out the window. Here comes this big Mercedes sedan, and who is in it? But one of my staff members, Chuck Morgan, and the owner of the station. And we are both just like, "Oh my God, what is Chuck doing bringing this guy here? We just said, Chuck, meet us at the bar. So anyway, they came in, and Harry had a way about him that he would just say, put a drink down in front of you and say, drink this. So he did that with the owner. He said, drink this or you're fired. And the guy joined in. And we had a very infamous evening of revelry.
I bet.
I'm not. Yeah, I know. At one point, I was driving the Mercedes, and I just, you think about those days and how dumb we all were drinking and driving.
Oh, boy.
But we were smart enough to take it off the road, and the owner was gracious enough to put us up in this nice hotel down in the old port.
See, he wasn't so bad after all then.
For the moment, yeah. But that was an infamous evening that the stories have been told over and over and over again.
The last time I saw Harry, Harry was walking away with Tim Kelly. They were heading for some restaurant in Denver where Harry said, I don't know, we're going somewhere to eat a bunch of dead animals.
Yeah, that was probably the Buckhorn Exchange.
Yeah, where they the buffalo and everything there. Yeah.
You know, I always refer to the Buckhorn Exchange as a place you go if you are, you got to do it once to come to Denver.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need to do it again because those guys like to go there a lot. So I don't ever need to go back there. But just to paint a little picture, it's like having dinner in the Addams family living room because there's all this taxidermy hanging on the walls throughout the dining area.
And they're all looking.
And they're staring at you.
Yeah, as you're eating their cousin. Yeah, I had elk fillet, and I didn't know what it was.
Oh, yeah, good stuff.
I didn't know what it was until I bit into it. And they said, that's elk. I went, oh, no, they're such beautiful animals. Anyway.
Yeah, no, some good stuff for sure.
At least they don't serve dogs.
So, yeah, you met. Yeah, you got to meet Harry in Denver when he was consulting a station that you were involved in on the corporate level initially, and I was brought in on the project, and
Big Dog.
That was part of the infamous the Big Dog 92.5 country station here in Denver.
That's right.
Which brought me here, and I have to thank Harry, Ethan Kelly, and yourself for helping me discover Denver as my home. I love it, and I'm still here.
You're a Coloradan now, for sure. Absolutely.
I really am. Came out here in the early 90s and really never looked back.
And, of course,
I was going to say about Harry.
We worked together in Tampa then, you and I, and then you went back to Colorado and you formed your company. What is it your company does exactly? You're consulting radio, right?
Yeah, so Radio Consulting Services is a programming services and full service consulting firm. We work with radio stations. We give them strategic advice.
Right.
We also help them out with their marketing and their branding. When you contacted me earlier today, I was working on a script and the creative elements for a television commercial for one of our clients.
Wow. Yeah.
So we kind of do it all, soup to nuts, whether it's imaging or marketing, like I said, or a lot of things with music and research. And we have a talent coach that works one-on-one with talent, a music programmer.
You guys even do all the music for them if they want, like it's a country format and they want you to do the music, you provide all that for them, right? Or if it's
absolutely, yeah, we'll even
adults, all formats, right? You do pretty much all formats.
Pretty much. If it everything with the exception of foreign language formats and classical, I would say we delved into just about all of the formats you could probably think of. And if we haven't, we're certainly open to it because we are a multi-format company.
Excellent.
But,
we got to roll.
yeah.
We got to roll here, and I just wanted to thank you for sharing the Harry Nelson story with us, and we wish Harry rests in peace, and may his memory be a blessing to us all. And I know it will be.
He was a sweetheart. There's no question.
You know, it's funny when one of the good guys dies like that, everybody comes out of the woodwork. It's so nice to see, you know, everybody talking nice on the internet, you know, instead of negativity, because Harry was always a very positive force, you know.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, John,
thank you, Joe.
John, listen, all the best with radio consulting services and you and your lovely wife and everything. I got to get back to Colorado and visit you guys. And you got to get out to LA. I haven't seen you since we met down in Newport there a while ago.
Absolutely, Joe. Let's do it.
All right, bro. Listen, God bless. Thank you so much.